Welcome, Red State subscribers, to the first of many VIP videos brought thanks to your subscriptions. I've always said that Red State readers were the most intelligent and, may I say, beautiful people on the planet. And hey, if you enjoy this video, make sure you tell your friends and family about it and have them subscribe to watch me too. The more the merrier, that's what I always say. But enough beating around the bush, let's just get right into it. What is the deal with gun control advocates? The estimated number of guns in the United States is about 357 million, or it was. Since then, I'm going to guess that the number of guns owned by Americans has gone way up, like way up. Why? Because gun sales tend to skyrocket anytime a Democrat so much as glances in the same direction as a gun. This should tell you that gun control in America, the elimination of guns, even a certain type of gun, is more or less a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Gun control has been a losing issue for Democrats for years, yet every election cycle, you have Democrats on stage rah-rahing it up for gun control.
We have to get assault weapons off the street, period.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. I will fight this and bring a fight to the NRA and the corporate gun lobby like they have never seen.
Everyone up here favors an assault weapon ban.
But what I would support absolutely is passing major legislation, the gun legislation that people here are talking about.
But let's say through some dark miracle that it happens. One day, a Democrat runs for office on the gun control platform, and their wildest dreams just come true. And suddenly, you have a president whose main thing is gun control, taking away our rights. Spoiler alert, nothing happens. Nothing is going to happen, even if they win. Let me tell you why. And to illustrate this, I'm going to illustrate this badly. Now, our little scenario, it starts in a little town called Maricaville. It's mostly crime-free, it's pretty quiet. And then one day, some kid who has had a lot of trouble with the ladies decides he's gonna take it out on everyone by killing innocent people. And as per the usual, it takes place in a gun-free zone. Not so fun fact, 98% of mass shootings have happened in gun-free zones since the 1950s. Now, as Democrats are wont to do, they immediately knee-jerk and say, we need to get rid of all the guns. They start going crazy. Now, among these Democrats that are trying to push for a new gun ban is one named Francisco. And he runs for president on an anti-gun platform, and through some dark miracle, he wins. President Francisco is psyched, man. He thinks that he now has permission from the people to go to the White House and just ban guns. That's what he thinks is gonna happen now. So he gets to Washington, he orders Democrats in Congress to draft up a gun ban bill, and then he is immediately stopped. Before Congress can actually draft any kind of legislation that actually makes guns just disappear, the Second Amendment kind of requests a meeting. It's important to remember that gun ownership in this country is a right, not a privilege. The right for me to have a boomstick cannot be taken away. Naturally, President Francisco starts looking into how he can repeal the Second Amendment so he can push through his gun ban. And looking into it, President Francisco finds that he has to have 2/3 approval from both the House and the Senate. You need a supermajority to pass this amendment through in both houses, and Democrats and Republicans hardly get along at the best of times. He then learns that it doesn't stop there. He then has to send it to the governors of all 50 states, where their legislatures have to approve it from a 2/3 majority. If they do that, and good luck, then you can amend the Constitution. Now, could President Francisco pull that off? No, he can't. But this is a fictional story, so let's say that in the election that voted in an anti-gun platform Democrat, the states lost their minds and they all turned Smurf blue. Except Texas. So Congress and Senate managed to pass through the Second Amendment killing legislation, the states approve it by 2/3 vote, and the Second Amendment is gone. The American people lose their right to bear arms despite having done nothing wrong. Now, Francisco, he is so excited at this point in time. He has done what no Democrat has managed to do ever. Super pumped, Francisco institutes a mandatory buyback to kind of incentivize Americans to come turn in their guns. Of the 357 million plus guns that are out there right now, only a fraction show up. Why? Well, because we don't have to register our guns here in America. Francisco has no idea who owns guns or even how many they own. And we know that a lot of people aren't going to give them up regardless. I mean, think of how many people actually went out there and bought guns because they thought that there was going to be a ban. They wanted to get their guns in before the ban took place. So now, Francisco has big problems on his hands, potentially millions of big problems. With only a fraction of the guns accounted for now, there are now millions of illegal firearms in circulation, and some things can happen at this point. One of the most obvious problems is now we have a thriving black market for firearms. Now, in a society that is so gun-friendly as ours, many of the people who buy guns out of this black market are probably going to be just good-natured citizens who want to be able to protect themselves, but many are also going to be criminals. Remember that now we have a majoritarily... Is that even a word? How is that not a word? We have a populace that is more or less undefended. One thing is for sure, and according to other countries who've passed gun bans, crime and violence skyrocket. If people can't get guns, they'll use whatever tools are necessary in order to commit the crimes. But remember, this is America. We had 357 million plus guns in this country before the gun ban passed. So there's a lot of guns still out there. The other thing that could quite possibly happen is revolutionary groups might start to rise up, comprised of people just like you and I, regular Americans, because they don't really appreciate their rights being trampled on and they don't want to live under tyrannical government. That's not what America was about. But that's an entirely different video, so stay tuned. So President Francisco, he's in a little bit of a panic now. He's watching his country devolve into crime. There's violence everywhere. People are still killing other people with guns now more than ever because, regular citizens are afraid to actually use their guns in self-defense. By the way, this happens a lot more than the media would like to talk about. So President Francisco goes back to the drawing board and he says, you know what? In order to get all of these guns, I need law enforcement to go door to door, searching homes and collecting all these firearms. And he immediately runs into another brick wall. As it turns out, law enforcement doesn't want to go door to door collecting guns. For one, it's too dangerous, it's too time consuming, and you need a warrant. And in order to get a warrant, you first have to have probable cause. And if you don't have probable cause, you can't have a warrant. You can't just enter into somebody's house. The Fourth Amendment protects us Americans from unlawful and unreasonable searches and seizures. In other words, the police cannot just come barging into your house whenever they want. So Francisco goes, you know what? Maybe lightning can strike twice, and I can get the Fourth Amendment repealed, and boom. Ain't nobody on board with that one, man. Look, despite all the disagreements between the right and the left, one of the things that we tend to really like is our right to privacy. You can kind of see it in the way that both sides get really upset whenever we hear about the government spying on us. So, will Francisco be able to repeal the Fourth Amendment? Probably not. Now at this point, Francisco has one of two options. One, he can call it a day and say, hey, I banned guns, I did my part, the crime and murder problem is for the next guy in office. Or two, he can continue to try to push for violations of the Fourth Amendment, thus causing him to lose a lot of favor with the populace and probably actually starting an uprising. There's that civil war again. So, we'll never have a gun-free America. We can have an America that bans guns, but we'll never have a gun-free America. You have to understand that America was literally founded with gun rights in mind. We have been collecting, making, and distributing guns for over 200 years now. Save the presence of some magical wand that you can wave and make all the guns disappear, you will never see a gun-free America. And I don't even care what kind of gun you're talking about, be it a regular standard semi-automatic pistol or an AR-15, also a semi-automatic by the way. If it has been in wide distribution, it ain't going away now. So Democrats, do me a huge favor, stop wasting our time with this nonsense. Guns aren't going away, we're always gonna have them. Get used to it. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this one, by all means, please tell your friends about it. Tell them to come subscribe. Use the promo code MORSE. It'll get you a discount on subscriptions. See ya. Oh, hey buddy, how you doing? Doing all right? Glad you could join us. I'll see you next time.